What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, today is going to be a different type of video. I've gotten the question a lot of like, hey, I have everything in the game. What should I be doing at, like, I guess you could call it the end game. You've grinded all the mastery, you've gotten all the frames, you've gotten all the mods. What do you do once you've gotten to that point? This is not a video for everyone at all. If you are someone that's still trying to get the Bratton Prime or the Siverus Prime, or trying to get Nidus still, this is not the video for you. This is a video to show you what I do at MR31, almost MR32, before the new war comes out. There's not really any outstanding like quest I need to do. There's not some big event that's currently available that I should be running. This is like middle of the week, just not really much going on. We've got the Aya event, but the drop rates for that are pretty bad. But we're going to talk about what I recommend to you if you are a late game player or just maybe a mid game player that just want to see what I do on a regular basis when I play this game, when I have time to play, what the best use of your time potentially could be. And I've actually looked at most things in the game. Now, there's one thing that I don't really do that much that a lot of people might still consider useful, and that's going to be eidolons on the plains of Eidolon. So those are going to drop those arcanes and all that, but I have every arcane, and I find the drop rates for those arcanes terrible, so I don't really grind them out. So we're going to talk about my daily farming routine if I have time to play for that day, and why I think certain missions are better than others, why certain missions don't, because they're worth your time, and how much you should be committing to these certain types of farms if they're available. And let me tell you, pretty much everything in this video is RNG. There's not really any super good missions that are set in stone, always available. There are certain missions like Vaginoi on Sedna that can drop a good amount of endo, but if you're only going for endo, I feel like you're not utilizing your time properly. So let's get into it. So we're going to go in order of importance, in my opinion. So we're going to start with the most important mission, at least currently, for me. As someone that really, even though Rivens are not in the best state currently, you still want to make sure, if you like Rivens, you want to be endgame and all that, you want to have really good Riven rolls. And how do you get good Riven rolls? Well, you basically just get lucky. But the way you can get lucky and maybe curve the RNG in your favor is get a bunch of Kuva. So I have 100,000 Kuva right here. And that actually has come from multiple different sources. The main Kuva farm I currently do is, well, first off, I'll do the Kuva flood once per hour, but I'm going to go ahead and say you should be checking your arbitration every hour. If you watched the previous video from last week on defense arbitrations, the number one thing you should be doing as a end-of-the-road kind of player is checking the arbitration every hour. There's lots of Discord bots that do it. There's websites that do it. Whatever. Twitter probably has some tweets that do that too. This is what you want to be looking for, because you can get over 100,000 Kuva in 1 hour by picking up the Vitus Essence. I had a run last week. I got 120,000 Kuva in 53 minutes by doing a defense arbitration. But that's the thing. These are random every hour. The one this hour is Infested Excavation. Used to be a meta excavation, but it no longer is. So you're looking for pretty much defense on small tiles. The one that was last hour was this one right here on Deimos. This is a great one. One of the best defense RBs in the entire game is actually on Pluto. It's going to be Sakura. The reason this one's so good, we'll have a video on this next week about like really, really good Kuva farms for this. It's because you get increased resource drop chance on this node. There's other nodes that do this as well, but this is one of the best ones because you can also get a really small map that lets you nuke everything down instantly. So that's my number one priority. RBs are good for multiple things. Pretty much the main one for me is Kuva. If you are someone that likes to, at the end of the road, you got Rivens, you got Plat, and you got resources. And I guess dojo decorations. So this is the best Kuva farm currently. It's also a pretty good endo farm. And if you want to specifically go for Plat, you don't care about Kuva, what you can do is you can get that Vitus Essence. You can go over to this guy over here, and you can buy things here to sell to the people. So you could buy Arcwing Riven mods, either 35 Vitus Essence each. I think they're about 20, 35 Plat to sell it. So that's like a 1-to-1 Plat conversion on your Vitus. There's also these galvanized mods down here. They probably go for 20 Plat each is my guess. And yeah, that's a way you can technically grind for Plat or Kuva the best way possible. Or the Plat part's not the best way possible. The Kuva part definitely is. All right, that's number one priority. Defense RBs, check it every hour if you can remember. Number two, good, air quotes, good fissures. And what I mean by a good fissure is a mission that is really, really quick. So we look at the fissure options we have right now. We've got a capture on Ceres, and that's going to give us, let's open up Meso Relics. So since we have so many relics, just click on this. Like, look how many relics I have. If you are a late game player, you probably have like hundreds of relics. You need to be using your time the most effectively by doing quick missions. If I did this survival right here, I am bottlenecked to 5 minutes per relic at the fastest. And not to mention there's a chance you might not even pick up all the reactant to open your relic in the first place. What you should be looking for is missions like capture, exterminate, even disruption can be pretty good too, just because that's unlike survival where you're bottlenecked to 5 minutes. Disruption can be done faster than 5 minutes, and also disruption is just a little bit more fun usually. Survival could definitely use a facelift in 2021, but this is actually be one of your best sources of platinum in the entire game. Is going to be doing these fast fissures, seeing what's up, seeing like I don't want to do this. This defense one's not worth my time. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do the capture instead. Utilizing your time properly, opening up relics, because prime parts are still the top stuff to sell for plat, guys. Just get a Rhino Prime set, sell it to someone for like 200 plat, wherever it is nowadays. And not to mention, like I said, we don't have enough time to open all these relics. I have hundreds of relics, but not enough time. So putting a dead to how many relics you have, like the potential, like ducats you can turn these in for, the plat you can sell it for. This is going to be the second best use of your time, and I'd say potentially the number one. Just if there's not a good RB up, this is the second place best thing to do. Is just grind fast fissures. Now that one's up. It depends what relics you have. If you don't have very good relics, it might not be worth it. But like I said, you can still turn in for ducats to borrow, get prime mods to sell to other people, stuff like that. Also keep in mind, since we do have this Aya event active, like I said earlier in the video, going to the Void and looking for Void fissures will be a even smarter choice. So if you see something like Oxomoko, Ukko, other stuff like that, this has a chance to drop Aya, which will give you a guaranteed vault of relic if you turn it in to the Maru person, whatever she's called. So look for fissures in the Void, because you open a relic, you get a relic back potentially, or you get an Aya back, which is even better than just getting a normal relic. So that's number 2. Now number 3, this is going to be, you might be like, why have you not mentioned the sortie? This is like a daily farm guide. Why is the sortie not here? Because the sortie can sometimes take a very long time. As you see right here, this sortie is actually pretty straightforward. I actually did it today because we have a hive mission. That probably takes about 2-3 minutes, maybe like closer to 5 if you're slower. We got a spy mission, takes 5 minutes or less, and a rescue mission, about 2-3 minutes. These combined, it's about like under 15 minutes of gameplay to get a potential, Orican Reactor, 6,000 Kuva, a Riven mod, Legendary Core, etc., etc. I got a Forma today, so a pretty bad reward. But if the sortie takes you less than 20 minutes, I'd say it's worth doing. If it's longer, if it's like Ambulance is the third one, Survival is the second one, and the first one is like Mobile Defense, don't even waste your time, in my opinion. Don't even waste your time with the sortie if that is what the options are. You could be doing a better job just grinding plat and fissures during that 20 minutes. If you think about it like this, let's say 3 minutes for a capture fissure. That's 7 relics I could have opened in that time. Potential for me getting a bunch of like more valuable stuff than any of these rewards at all. So yeah, that's gonna be number 3. That's after you've checked if there's good fissures. That one's a little bit more flexible. It could be between like 1 and 2. If it's like the amazing fissure or amazing sortie, but remember, sortie rewards are kind of, they need a little bit of a touch-up in my opinion. And then the priority after the sortie, this really depends how much time per day you have to play. You're going to be looking for the Kuva Flood. And I usually do all the Kuva Floods because these missions are pretty fast, but a lot of times I will skip an excavation or a mobile defense one just because they tend to take longer. This will give you a guaranteed Requiem relic. And it will give you 1,200 Kuva without a booster. With a booster, you get 2,400. So a decent little, it probably takes about 5 minutes to complete this, and you get decent loot for your troubles. And of course, since I'm talking about this is a late game kind of farming guide, like suggestion thing, you should be geared enough to do arbitrations, to do the Steel Path, to do the Kuva Flood. It's not like, oh yeah, you gotta work your way to it. This is a video expecting you to be equipped for all this stuff at this point. All right, moving on past the Kuva Flood. Good Requiem fissures is the next one. And as far as good Requiem fissures, I'm going to mention 3 of my favorites. The Kuva Survival just rotated, and these 2 are here I consider bad. I'd say Kuva Exterminate, which will be, I think it's like the first node actually in the Kuva Fortress. So yeah, Dakota is going to be a pretty good one. Lets you speed run through it. Usually has people in matchmaking too. There's also Tavioni, or however you pronounce this. It's Kuva Survival with Requiem relics, so you can open it up, get Kuva from the relics, get Kuva from the towers, get Axie relics on like Rotation C, pretty good. And there's also Kuva Disruption, which, like I said, you need to be geared for this. but it also lets you open up relics really fast. This technically is faster for opening relics than Tav Uni, and you also get Kuva while opening this. But Tav Uni is much easier to play, honestly, and Dakata is probably the easiest of all to play. The hardest part is just like, navigating the maze-like Kuva Fortress as you Brahma spam your way through. So the reason I consider this less important than normal fissures is just because the potential rewards, there's actually some really, really bad stinkers in the Requiem relics. If you look at what possible rewards you can get, we've got, pretty good stuff. We've got these Requiem mods. These are basically what you're going for here. These usually sell for about 10 to 15 plat each, even more sometimes. And we also got 1200 Kuva. The Amber Star, Riven Sliver, Exos Adapter, these are like basically dead rewards for me. It's basically like I didn't get anything by Relic that time. But 1200 Kuva, sure. And these 2 Requiem mods, that's what you want. That's why I don't rate this as high as normal fissures, but if you are consistently getting Requiem mods every time, that's 15 plat every single relic you open, you could definitely see where that could go to be more profitable for your time there. And like I said, like there's certain really, really bad, because it's just these Requiem fissures only appear on the Kuva Fortress. There's some really bad ones there. There's like mobile defense, which who does mobile defense fissures? There's this mission right here. This one takes forever. And then like other stuff like that too, which is never do the defense fissure on the Kuva Fortress. You can thank me later, okay? It's not worth it at all. So, moving on past that, so if you're keeping track, we got good defense RB is number 1. Good fissures, fast fissures, number 2. Number 3 is a sortie that takes you less than 20 minutes. Number 4 is Kuva Flood, which, that one's definitely, like, you could change that position as well. Requiem fissures, good ones, is number 5. And then the last one we're on, it's actually, like, this is, like, if you're really desperate and you maybe haven't, you want to do like a multi-farm, there's actually Void Fissure, or what are these things called? Void Storms. So Void Storms, if you can find a fast version of these, you could actually get a good amount of, this is actually the best one right here in my opinion, New Gua Mines. This is the one that's best for farming Sevagoth, and it's okay for farming Hollow Keys, only gives you like 3 or 4 per completion if you beat it, and you get the roll as well, but you're looking for fast, just like the Fast Fissures recommendation, fast Void Storms, because these give you good amount of credits as well. So if you're trying to farm credits, to maybe max out some prime mods to sell to somebody. It's an okay endo farm, not really the best endo farm, but like the ship parts can be dissolved into endo, and you're also opening relics at the same time, which is like, it's a good multi-farm, not an extremely good focused farm, but if you are not burnt out on Void Storms already from farming Sevagoth, farming the Epitaph, potentially farming the Tenant melee weapons, which just are awful feeling to farm. Like that's why I don't really do Void Storms anymore, is because I feel burnt out on Void Storms, just because I've done these missions so many times, and it feels very similar. That's gonna be the last place one, with Aya farming also coming in, I guess next to last place. Here's the thing, Aya drop rates are so bad now that they've nerfed Ghoul Purge that I'm not really actively farming it right now. Not to mention the fact there's very limited spots you can get Aya from. It seems like most people are doing Deimos bounties, the tier 5 one I think it is, and just getting a good amount of Aya there. That's what you could potentially do. Like I said, I haven't really been doing it, but the Necroless bounties actually give you a good amount of loot if you even besides the Aya. There's like 1,000 endos, one of the drops, 750 Kuva I think it is, and then there's like special mods that you maybe don't have or something like that. That's going to be the tier list of farming today, guys. I've had people ask me this a bunch, and it's pretty much going to be revolving around Rivens and Kuva for me, and then also a little bit of Plat, even though I'm not really grinding out Plat as much as I used to, like, just because, I work full-time. I don't have time for it right now, but maybe that will change in the future. So this is the one that a lot of people are running, the tier 5 one. Got a decent Aya drop rate, and you'll be getting a lot of Quasas blueprints if you do this, though. Just keep that in mind. All right, guys, hopefully you found the video helpful. Like I said, it's up to personal preference. This is just what I am doing. And like I said, Eidolons, that's the thing. I have every arcane. I have Focus maxed out, like completely maxed out. I have no use for Eidolons. I'd rather do the Prophet Taker at that point, because the Prophet Taker can actually be a decent platform as well, giving you a good amount of credits for maxing out stuff. Also giving you toroids for selling like Magus lockdowns to people. And I think it also gives you Radiant Relics too, which you could potentially open to just get even more. So, yeah, Eidolons, I don't know. I've always felt like Eidolons have needed a loot refresh for like a year or two, and Eidolons are just the same as when they came out, pretty much. They added arcanes, they added some more focus to it. They're easier now, but they feel just the same as before, and they're not worth my time to me. So, I hope that you guys found it helpful. I'll see you next time, and take it easy. Peace.